Is this dump going to end exactly here? Because we can see that Bitcoin came all the way back up to the swing high, but now we can see that Bitcoin is in this downwards trend. And yes, the altcoins are bleeding extremely, but we're going to find out what we could expect for Bitcoin and also the altcoins, because we're going to find out when we could expect this major altcoin season, and why buying now could be the best opportunity. Because yes guys, if we go over to the Bitcoin cycles, this is what we could expect, and used to extremely early. Even though we're seeing this major downward trend, guys, now's the time to invest into dollar cost average when there's blood in the streets. So let's find out what we could expect for Bitcoin and the overall crypto market, and what is my major indication. And yes, we're going to look at the DXY and also Solana. So if you want to find out more, watch the video until the end, smash up the like button and subscribe, and welcome back to B4Crypto. Yes guys, we can see that the overall crypto market on the daily chart, so this major downwards trend. But first of all, we're going to look at this overall accumulation phase. And yes guys, actually from the beginning of March, from the 9th of March, which was exactly here, we could see that the price movement of Bitcoin is absolutely going sideways. Yes, we had this major manipulation and this accumulation phases from the whales, major institutions, countries, or even central banks that are buying Bitcoin, which drive the price of Bitcoin to an all-time high, and then they're selling exactly here to reaccumulate exactly when all the retail investors are selling all of the Bitcoin down here, because they expect that the price of Bitcoin is going to dump even lower. So what are the institutions and the major whales are going to do? They're going to buy up the Bitcoin exactly here. This drives the price of Bitcoin higher, and all the people that sold their Bitcoin exactly at these lows, they're going to re-enter at the top. The institutions and also the whales push the price and manipulate the price of Bitcoin even lower, and once again the people think, yes, we're going to see even lower low. So what do the whales do? They push the price even higher to form a higher high exactly here, and when everybody turns bullish again and think that the price of Bitcoin is going to break out even higher, yes, the whales are manipulating the price of Bitcoin even lower and all the way back down, where all the people turn extremely bearish, and after they sold their last Bitcoin and turned extremely bearish down here, they push the price of Bitcoin all the way back up to the range high. And yes guys, this is a reaccumulation phase. So ultimately, what is going to be the next step? We saw this dump towards the downside. We broke the point of control, this green lines exactly here, where we can see a lot of volume for Bitcoin. Let me just remove all of these drawings. Because yes, before the Bitcoin halving exactly here, I told you that we could expect this major sideways consolidation, because the maximum pain isn't going to be a dump for all the institutions to get you the favor to buy Bitcoin at these low prices. No, they're going to move the price of Bitcoin sideways, and this is exactly what I told you, exactly within this range. And yes, so far we can see this absolute boring phase, but guys, we need to really focus what is going to happen next, because yes, ultimately this point of control where we can see a lot of volume, previous support and also resistance exactly here. So this is a major important zone, and yes, we broke this zone towards the downside exactly here. We even confirmed this breakdown after the price movement retested this major point of control, these two green lines exactly here, which is also exactly the mid-range from the high and also the swing low exactly within these levels. So ultimately a lot of people will turn bearish exactly here, and the overall crypto market is going to expect a dump maybe even to the 100 moving average, or even the 38.2, or even the range low, all the way back down to the $60,000 level. But guys, the market is going to do the opposite, because yes, these major accumulation or even consolidation areas for Bitcoin, they are absolutely normal. And yes, if we're going to zoom out, we saw this before exactly here, before the price movement of Bitcoin broke even higher, and also we saw this major consolidation. This was in between the price levels of 24,000 and all the way up here at $31,000, where we saw this maximum pain, maximum sideways move, and a lot of people turned extremely bearish, like a couple who still is calling the low for Bitcoin to go all the way back down under the $20,000 level. But yes, we never saw these levels again. We saw this fast move towards the upside after this accumulation phase. And yes guys, if you're going to sell your crypto or even your altcoins within this phase, you're going to miss this major pump towards the upside, because guys, ultimately if the price movement comes all the way back up, you're you're going to think, yes, maybe we're going to see a dump even lower, but then the price movement keeps on pumping, and at the end you're going to buy exactly the tops. The top maybe from the next accumulation phase. So guys, ultimately dollar cost average into these areas to get the best opportunity. And talking about major opportunities, let's go over to the total 3 market cap over on X. Because yes, all the way from the halvening, which was exactly here, the previous halvening in the year 2020, we saw this major parabolic run for the altcoins, because the altcoin market cap is the market cap of all altcoins excluding Bitcoin and also Ethereum, and we saw this major pump towards the upside. And after the first halvening, we also saw this major pump. And yes, we can see that the all-time high was always hit 546 days after the Bitcoin halvening, and at the previous halvening we saw exactly the same scenario. After 446 days we saw the all-time high. And yes, we had the Bitcoin halvening round about in April 2024, a few months ago, and yes guys, this is what we could expect. So yes, the altcoins are going to outperform Bitcoin. So ultimately guys, if you want to make some major profits, you're going to invest into some major altcoin projects, the major narratives which are going to see a major push within this bull market. Because yes, I've showed you the total 3 market cap before, and exactly here we had the previous Bitcoin halvening, and we had this 1824% pump for the total 3 market cap. And yes, we saw some altcoins with a major pump towards the upside, and this is ultimately exactly what we could expect, this scenario for the biggest altcoin season. So ultimately guys, yes, your altcoins are maybe down 30% all the way from the time that you have invested exactly here. You would be down all the way from your entry point all the way to the swing low of 43%. But ultimately guys, you know exactly what you're investing in and also the time frame. So ultimately guys, if you're going to invest within this range, you have a great entry point, because as soon as we're going to break out from this major range, you're going to enter exactly here. Because what is going to tell you that we could maybe expect the dump even lower, you're going to always wait for the lowest price. No, dollar cost average exactly within these levels, and what we could expect from the next bull run, I'm going to show you exactly now. But if you want to buy crypto on the spot market or trade it with a leverage, go down in the video description below, where you receive a major deposit bonus and also reduced fees. So this really is a win-win situation. So let's go over what we could expect within the bull market. So yes, here we can see the complete Bitcoin cycles from the year 2011, the first bear market, 2014, second bear market, 2018, and the year 2022. And yes, this was exactly here when I started my YouTube channel, so you could have bought exactly the bear market bottom. But guys, we can see that the next phase of the bull market is the pre-bull market, all the way to the Bitcoin halvening. We can see this bullish move, and yes, you would have made some major profits if you would have invested exactly here. But ultimately, this parabolic move towards the upside is only going to start in the third bull market phase. And yes, the end of the phase is going to be in the year 2025, where we're going to see the huge bull market and the blow off top when we're going to take all of our profits. So ultimately guys, from this major bullish move, you already missed 1/3. And yes, 2/3 are still waiting for you to make some major profits. So ultimately guys, investing now is going to be the best opportunity. And why do I think that this is going to be the end and that we could expect the pump all the way back up? Because yes guys, a lot of people would anticipate after this pump all the way to the highs that we're going to come all the way back down to the range low. No guys, I think that the market is going to turn around and that we're going to come all the way back up into this major 88.6. Because yes, if we're going to look at the previous time we saw this pump all the way to the range high, yes, we could see that the price movement got rejected, came all the way back down to this green support box, and this is the same scenario guys. We bounced off all the way back up to the range high, we saw this rejection all the way back down, found support at the point of control, saw the double top, now we came all the way back down, all the way to this green support box exactly here from these levels. And now we can see guys, I do expect that this move is going to occur, that we're going to form a higher high exactly here, and that the next price movement of Bitcoin is going to come all the way back up to the levels of 72,000 US dollars. So yes, I do expect that the price movement of Bitcoin is going to bounce off within these levels, round about the point of control exactly here, that the price movement is going to come back above this major point of control, and it will going to come all the way back up. But yes, We could even see this dump all the way back down to the range low before we're going to see that the overall crypto market is going to turn around. But ultimately guys, buying in this accumulation phase like all the weights is just going to get you the advantage if we're going to see this major breakout, because you're never going to get the breakout, because you will still wait for a further consolidation and the price movement is just going to skyrocket, because this is also what we could expect, that a lot of people are going to expect this further consolidation, but the price movement keeps on pumping and breaks the all-time high. This is always the scenario, so that's why we're going to position ourselves exactly here, and we're going to buy the lows, because yes, if we go over to the dollar currency index, we're seeing the exact same scenario each and every time. When the dollar currency goes up, Bitcoin goes down. This is the weekly chart of Bitcoin and the weekly dollar currency index. Here we saw that we broke this major parabolic phase, we saw this dump towards the downside, but for Bitcoin we saw this slight upwards move, and once again we saw the pump for the dollar currency index, and here we saw this first consolidation on the weekly chart after the bear market bottom. And yes guys, afterwards we saw this dump for the dollar, pump for Bitcoin exactly within the same time period, and once again dump for Bitcoin. In the same time period we had this pump for the dollar, and once again dump. Here we had a slight pump, but overall consolidation in this major consolidation phase exactly here. Then we saw the dollar went down exactly from this low, which was all the way down here for the price movement of Bitcoin. Bitcoin pumped, dollar dumped, consolidation as well for the dollar currency index, consolidation for Bitcoin, major pump for Bitcoin, dump for the dollar, and now we saw this bullish trajectory and also this consolidation for the dollar currency index, and the same scenario applies for Bitcoin. But guys, if we're going to zoom in for the dollar currency index, we can see that on the weekly chart this candle is turning red exactly here, this weekly candle. So ultimately on the daily chart we can see that the dollar currency index formed the high exactly within this major resistance zone, because yes, previous resistance exactly here, and also here, previous support exactly within these levels, support, resistance, and also once again support and resistance exactly here. So this is going to be a strong level, and ultimately if we're going to see that the dollar currency index is going to dump, the US dollar is losing its value, we could expect that the dollar currency index is going to come all the way back down to the $100 level. So ultimately guys, this is my first indication that we could expect a pump for Bitcoin, because the dollar currency index is forming a lower high exactly here. The dollar currency index from this high formed the lower high and even a lower high exactly here. So ultimately we could expect this dump for the dollar and the pump for Bitcoin exactly from these levels, maybe a consolidation and maybe even a retest at the top of the range. But my message is guys, if you bought exactly the top for Solana, because yes, over on Solana we had this major swing high, and yes, we saw that we dumped 40% from the swing high all the way to the low. So if you would have bought exactly the top, you're already 40% in a loss. But ultimately guys, you're just going to hold or dollar cost average in even more to get your entry price even lower, because yes, if there's blood in the street, these major dump phases, guys, this would have been great opportunities to get Solana on a discount. Because yes, if we're going to look at the previous consolidation phase exactly here, if you would have bought the top exactly at the levels of $126, yes, you would have also seen this major dump. But after this consolidation phase, guys, we saw this major pump towards the upside. So yes, you earn some major profit. It all depends on the time frame you're going to invest. And if you're going to invest exactly now, guys, you still have a major leg towards the upside. Because if we're going to look at the bull markets, we are only starting to get in the third phase of the bull market. This means that you can still profit on 2/3 of the bull market. So ultimately, guys, dollar cost average into Bitcoin, use my links to get a major discount and also some reduced fees. But ultimately guys, if you always want to stay up to date, go down in the video description below and sign up to my free Telegram group. And guys, if you want to support my channel, smash up the like button and subscribe. But most importantly, make sure to be for crypto, and we see each other in the next video.